The moment of truth. Scout's shocking revelation threatens to shatter Port Charles. The aftermath of Drew Kane's shocking shooting has left Port Charles reeling. But perhaps no one carries a heavier burden than young Scout Kane. As the daughter of the wounded congressman lies in her hospital bed, the weight of what she witnessed that fateful evening threatens to consume her small frame. The 12-year-old has been unusually quiet since her father was rushed to General Hospital, fighting for his life with 2 bullets lodged in his back. What the adults don't realize is that Scout was home that night, having snuck back from her friend's house earlier than expected. Hidden in the shadows of the Quartermain Mansion's grand staircase, she witnessed something that would change everything: the identity of her father's shooter. A child's dilemma. Scout's hands tremble as she sits in the hospital waiting room, her grandmother Alexis Davis hovering nearby with concerned eyes. The little girl keeps replaying the horrifying scene in her mind. The figure moving through the shadows, the flash of recognition, the deafening sound of gunshots that sent her scurrying deeper into hiding. "Sweetie, you've barely said a word since we got here," Alexis gently coaxes, kneeling down to Scout's level. "I know this is scary, but your daddy is strong. The doctors are taking very good care of him." But Scout's silence isn't just about fear. For her father's life fight's about the devastating truth she carries. She saw Nina Reeves, Willow's mother, standing over Drew's motionless body with the smoking gun still in her hand. The woman she had come to care for, the grandmother figure to her potential siblings, had tried to kill her father. The police have been questioning everyone with a motive, and Detective Chase has made it clear that they're looking at a long list of suspects. Scout has overheard the hushed conversations between the adults. Drew had made so many enemies. How anyone could have wanted him dead. But she knows the truth, and it's tearing her apart. Finding her voice. Days pass as Drew remains in critical condition, and Scout's anxiety only grows. She can't bring herself to tell the police what she saw. Paralyzed by the implications, Nina has been kind to her, especially during the custody battle when Willow was fighting for her children. How could the same woman who brought her cookies and helped with homework be capable of such violence? It's Willow who finally breaks through Scout's walls, still reeling from learning about Drew's condition and the renewed custody complications. Willow finds Scout sitting alone in the hospital chapel, tears streaming down her young face. "Scout, honey, what's wrong?" Willow asks, sliding into the pew beside the girl. Despite everything that has happened between her and Drew, despite the complicated web of relationships that has brought them all to this point, Willow's maternal instincts kick in when she sees a child in pain. Scout looks up at Willow with haunted eyes. Of all the adults in her complicated family tree, Willow has always been the one who truly listened to her, who treated her like she mattered. Even when the custody battle was raging and emotions were running high, Willow never made Scout feel like she was caught in the middle. "I saw something," Scout whispers, her voice barely audible over the soft hymns playing from the chapel's speakers. "The night Daddy got hurt. I saw who did it." Willow's breath catches in her throat. "Scout, did you tell the police?" Detective Chase needs to know. "I can't." Scout's voice cracks with emotion. "I can't tell them because it was Nina. I saw her, Willow. She shot my daddy." Willow's world crumbles. The words hit Willow like a physical blow. She stares at Scout, searching the child's face for any sign that this might be a mistake, a misunderstanding born from trauma and confusion. But Scout's eyes hold a clarity that chills Willow to the bone. Are you absolutely sure?" Willow manages to ask, her own voice shaking now. Scout nods miserably. "I was hiding on the stairs. I wasn't supposed to be home yet, but I wanted to surprise Daddy. Nina came in through the back door. She had a key. I saw her face when she walked into the living room where Daddy was. She said something about how he had to be stopped, that he was going to destroy you and the family. Then she shot him." The chapel suddenly feels suffocating. Willow's mind races as she tries to process this revelation. Her mother, the woman who had finally found her way back into her life, who had been her support system during the darkest periods of the custody battle, is a would-be murderer. She looked right up at the stairs after she did it. Scout continues, her voice hollow. "I thought she was going to see me, but she didn't. She just left. When I heard the sirens, I ran to my room and pretended to be asleep." The weight of secrets. Willow wraps her arms around Scout, both of them trembling now. The implications of this revelation are staggering. Nina, who had positioned herself as the protective mother figure, who had railed against Drew's manipulation and control, had taken justice into her own hands in the most violent way possible. "Scout, we have to tell someone," Willow says, though her own voice lacks conviction. The police need to know the truth. But what about you? Scout asks, looking up at Willow with eyes far too old for her 12 years. Nina is your mom. If I tell, she'll go to prison forever. And everyone will know that your mother tried to kill my father. How can you and I still be family after that? The question breaks Willow's heart. This child, who has already endured so much trauma and upheaval in her young life, is now worried about protecting the relationships that matter to her. Scout has lost her mother Sam to a tragic accident, watched her father spiral into increasingly dark behavior, and now witnessed the ultimate betrayal by someone she trusted. Whatever happens, that doesn't change how I feel about you, Willow assures her, smoothing Scout's hair with a gentle hand. You're not responsible for what the adults in your life do. You're just a little girl who saw something terrible. But even as she says the words, Willow's own heart is breaking. The mother-daughter relationship she had fought so hard to rebuild with Nina is now revealed to be built on the ultimate deception. Nina hadn't just hidden her affair with Drew, she had escalated to attempted murder to protect Willow from him, facing an impossible choice. As they sit together in the chapel, both Willow and Scout are grappling with the same impossible dilemma. How do you turn in someone you love? How do you choose between justice and family loyalty? The police investigation is ongoing, with Anna Devane and Detective Chase methodically working through their list of suspects. Meanwhile, Nina continues to play the concerned family member, visiting Drew in the hospital and comforting Willow during this difficult time. The audacity of it makes Willow feel physically ill. Every time Nina touches her hand or offers words of support, Willow now knows she's being comforted by the person who put Drew in that hospital bed. The secret weighs heavily on both of them. Scout begins having nightmares, and her school performance suffers as she struggles with the guilt of keeping quiet. Willow finds herself unable to look Nina in the eye, making excuses to avoid family gatherings and one-on-one conversations. I don't know what to do, Willow confesses to Scout during one of their secret meetings. Part of me wants to protect her because she's my mother, but another part of me knows that justice demands the truth. Scout nods solemnly. I feel the same way. But Willow, what if she tries to hurt someone else? What if keeping this secret makes us just as bad as her? The tipping point. The situation becomes even more complicated when Drew begins to recover consciousness. The doctors are cautiously optimistic about his prognosis, but he has no memory of the shooting itself. The police press him for details, but Drew can only remember coming home, having a drink, and looking at the engagement ring he had planned to give Willow. Nina's relief at Drew's memory loss is palpable, and it doesn't go unnoticed by Willow. The way her mother's shoulders relax when the doctors mention the amnesia, the subtle smile that crosses her face, it all confirms what Scout witnessed that night. The breaking point comes when Nina suggests that Drew's shooting might actually be a blessing in disguise for Willow and the children. Maybe this will finally make him realize that his behavior has consequences. Nina says during a private conversation with Willow, sometimes people need a wake-up call to change their ways. The callousness of the statement, knowing what she now knows, pushes Willow over the edge. This is the woman who pulled the trigger, talking about Drew's near-death experience as if it were some kind of cosmic intervention, rather than her own violent act. Truth's inevitable revelation. The weight of the secret becomes unbearable for both Willow and Scout. The little girl's health begins to suffer. She's losing weight, having panic attacks, and her therapist is concerned about her emotional state. Willow realizes that protecting Nina is destroying an innocent child who has already been through far too much. The final straw comes when Scout breaks down completely during a family dinner, unable to sit at the same table as Nina while carrying this terrible knowledge. As Scout runs from the room in tears, Willow makes her decision. We can't keep this secret anymore, she tells Scout that night. It's killing you, and it's not fair. You're just a child, you shouldn't have to carry this burden. Scout looks at her with a mixture of relief and fear. Will you be there when I tell them? Will you still want me in your life after everything comes out? Willow takes the little girl's hands in hers. I'll be right there with you, and yes, you'll always be part of my family. What Nina did doesn't change that. What matters now is doing the right thing, no matter how hard it is. The truth will soon come to light, and Port Charles will discover that the person who shot Drew Kane was not one of his many obvious enemies, but the protective mother who believed she was saving her daughter from a dangerous man. The revelation will shatter families, destroy relationships, and force everyone involved to confront the devastating consequences of secrets and lies. But for Scout and Willow, Finally speaking the truth will be the first step toward healing from the trauma that has consumed their lives. Sometimes, the hardest choices are also the most necessary ones. Next, we're diving into the thrilling twists awaiting us in Port Charles over the next 3 weeks. From September 1st to 19th, in the bustling world of Port Charles, tensions are skyrocketing as Rick Lansing grapples with a perilous predicament that could lead to his daring escape, all while a shadowy Croatian boss unleashes his fury on those who cross him. Meanwhile, Nina Reeves is gearing up for a bold gamble that could change everything for her loved ones. Let's unpack the drama week by week, starting with the explosive events of September 1st to 5th, where a shocking crime threatens to eclipse the mystery surrounding Judge Eva Heron's untimely demise. Imagine the chaos as a frantic 911 call shatters the peace, pulling Anna Devane and Dante Falconeri into a high-stakes investigation that's bound to uncover hidden motives and buried secrets. With a lineup of suspects under the microscope, Harrison Chase lends his expertise to Anna, grilling each one with precision and uncovering alibis that might not hold water. The ripple effects of this crime send shockwaves through the community, from the docks to the high society galas, leaving residents whispering about who could be next. At the heart of it all might be Drew, potentially caught in a violent ambush, perhaps a gunshot echoing through the night that lands him in the air, battling for survival amid beeping monitors and frantic doctors. Fans are on the edge of their seats, wondering if this attack stems from old rivalries or fresh betrayals, with medical teams racing against time to stabilize him as family gathers in tearful vigils. Shifting focus to Nina, her protective instincts kick into overdrive, prompting her to embark on a risky scheme that could either save the day or unravel her world. Known for her fierce loyalty to Willow Tate, Nina might orchestrate an elaborate cover-up, fabricating evidence or misleading authorities if she suspects Willow's involvement in the Drew incident. Picture her sneaking through dimly lit alleys, piecing together clues while her heart pounds with the fear of exposure. Adding to the intrigue, Curtis Ashford's simmering rage against Drew raises red flags for Trina Robinson, who starts piecing together her father's erratic behavior, late-night absences, and heated phone calls that make her question his innocence. The suspect list grows longer, with Portia Robinson and Kai Taylor thrown into the mix, each harboring their own grudges and alibis that detectives poke holes in. During intense interrogations, over at the luxurious yet treacherous Five Poppies Resort, Jocelyn, Jax, and Vaughn feel the sting of abandonment after Britt Westburn's abrupt exit, leaving them trapped in a web of uncertainty. But there's more to Britt's hasty departure than meets the eye. She could be rushing to retrieve a hidden burner phone gifted by Jason Morgan, a lifeline in this moment of crisis. With Jason having tipped off his son Danny about his impending return, it sets the stage for Danny to cleverly delay bogus kidnapping charges against Drew, buying precious time through legal loopholes and unexpected alliances. Yet, Jocelyn faces a dilemma. How will she confess her precarious situation to Jason without spilling the beans on deeper entanglements? As we roll into the week of September 8th to 12th, Jason emerges as the unlikely savior, swooping in to rescue Jocelyn and Vaughn from the resort's clutches if Britt's plea for help reaches him in time. Envision Jason navigating the resort's labyrinthine corridors, outsmarting guards with his trademark stealth, all to pull his friends from danger. However, this heroism comes with complicatiously guarded WSB secrets, especially those kept from Carly Spencer. Put her in a bind with Jason. Will he demand transparency, urging her to come clean to Carly about the covert operations and hidden dangers? Or might Jocelyn's persuasive pleas convince him to maintain the silence, preserving fragile family bonds? Regardless, Jocelyn walks away from the ordeal unscathed, her resilience shining through as she reflects on the close call, perhaps even forging stronger ties with those who stood by her. Vaughn, too, hopes to escape without a scratch, emerging from the shadows with tales of narrow escapes that could become legendary in Port Charles lore. Back in town, Molly Lansing Davis and Elizabeth Baldwin grow increasingly anxious over Rick's unexplained vanishing act. Despite the kidnapper's attempts to spin a web of deception through fabricated messages and false leads, the duo might huddle in a quiet coffee shop, swapping theories and digging into Rick's last known whereabouts, their worry fueling a determination to unravel the truth behind his silence. Meanwhile, Alexis Davis teams up with Ava Jerome and Christina Corinthos Davis in a cunning plot to mislead investigators about Rick's fate, perhaps hacking into his phone to send phony texts that paint him as off on a spontaneous trip. But Elizabeth and Molly aren't easily fooled. Their instincts scream that something's amiss, leading them to launch their own sleuthing efforts, tracking phone records, interviewing acquaintances, and piecing together timelines that point to foul play. This persistence could spell good news for Rick, who's enduring a nightmarish captivity filled with dimly lit cells and taunting captors. By the week of September 15th to 19th, Rick spots a glimmer of hope, perhaps exploiting a guard's momentary lapse or discovering a hidden weakness in his restraints, setting the stage for a pulse-pounding breakout attempt. Could Elizabeth or Molly, or even a joint effort from both, track him down before the ominous 30-day deadline looms, storming the hideout with authorities in tow to free him from his bonds? The enigmatic Croatian boss, seething with rage over the Five Poppies fiasco, is poised to lash out, his wrath manifesting in vengeful orders that could ensnare Britt in a storm of consequences. For her role in the upheaval involving Jocelyn, Vaughn, and Jason, viewers might finally get a reveal of this elusive figure, his face emerging from the shadows in a dramatic confrontation that ties together loose ends. And in a jaw-dropping twist, whispers suggest this boss could be none other than a character portrayed by Ryan Pavey, bringing a familiar face back into the fold with motives that reshape alliances and ignite new feuds. Next, we dive into the latest twists and turns in Port Charles Stade. We're exploring the electrifying romantic upheavals that are shaking up the soap's love landscape, with fresh pairings, risky reunions, and tangled temptations that promise to keep viewers on the edge of their seats. In the heart of Port Charles, the romantic scene is heating up like never before, with three major shakeups poised to redefine relationships and spark endless drama, from unexpected sparks flying between unlikely partners to the pull of old flames that could lead to heartbreak, and even the complicated web of emotions weaving through co-parenting dynamics. There's no shortage of intrigue. These developments aren't just fleeting moments. They're building toward long-term storylines that could alter the fates of our favorite characters. As tensions rise and secrets simmer, fans are left wondering how these romantic entanglements will unfold in the coming episodes. Let's break it down, starting with a budding connection that's already turning heads. First on the list is the sizzling potential romance between Portia Robinson and Isaiah Gannon, a pairing that's emerging from the ashes of Portia's crumbling marriage. Picture this: in a moment of raw emotion, Portia accidentally shatters her wedding photo frame, symbolizing the end of an era, and turns to the charming Isaiah for assistance in removing her ring. A simple act that quickly escalates into a passionate embrace. This isn't just a rebound fling. There's a palpable chemistry bubbling between them, fueled by shared vulnerabilities and mutual respect. Portia, a dedicated doctor who's always put her career and family first, finds herself drawn to Isaiah's mysterious background as a newcomer with a knack for fixing more than just broken objects. He's got that quiet strength, perhaps stemming from his own past heartaches, which makes him an intriguing match for her. Fans are buzzing about whether this could blossom into something real, especially now that Portia believes her union with Curtis is irreparably damaged. She's navigating the pain of betrayal and loss, which might make her more open to exploring new horizons. However, whispers around town suggest Portia has a history of complicated relationships, where accusations of infidelity have flown both ways. It's like a cycle of mistrust that Isaiah might want to heed before diving into deep. Imagine if Isaiah, with his enigmatic smile and hidden talents, maybe he's an amateur musician who plays soothing tunes to calm her nerves, becomes the steady presence she needs. Yet, could external pressures, like family interference or professional rivalries at the hospital, test their budding connection? As they share late-night conversations over coffee in the hospital lounge, trading stories of their dreams and regrets, it's clear this duo has the makings of a hot new couple, but only time will tell if it's built to last. Shifting gears to the second shakeup, we have the ominous signs of a doomed déjà vu reunion between Jordan Ashford and Curtis Ashford, a classic case of exes who can't quite let go. It all kicked off in that intense episode on August 28th, where Portia boldly confronted Curtis about his unresolved feelings for Jordan, hitting a nerve that exposed cracks in their current setup. Curtis brushed it off, dismissing her jealousy as unfounded and storming out, which inadvertently paved the way for Portia's impulsive moment with Isaiah. Now, with Portia seemingly moving on, the door is wide open for Curtis and Jordan to circle back to each other. Their history is rich with passion. Remember those stolen glances and heartfelt confessions from their earlier days? But it's also littered with obstacles that tore them apart before. Jordan, the no-nonsense deputy mayor with a sharp mind for justice, still harbors deep emotions for Curtis, the resilient private investigator who's always been her rock. Yet, is reigniting this flame a smart move? Their past attempts at happiness were derailed by secrets, lies, and external threats. Like dangerous cases that put their lives at risk, perhaps this time, they could approach it differently, with more maturity and open communication. But the soap's track record suggests trouble ahead. Imagine Curtis confiding in Jordan over a quiet dinner, reminiscing about their adventures while subtly flirting, only for old insecurities to resurface. Portia's lingering presence could add fuel to the fire, creating a love triangle that's messy and unavoidable. And let's not forget the family dynamics. Trina, Portia's daughter, might feel torn between loyalties, adding emotional layers to the mix. If they don't proceed with caution, this reunion could spiral into another epic disaster, complete with heated arguments and regretful decisions that echo their previous fallout. Viewers are split. Some root for a second chance at true love, while others predict it'll end in tears, much like a storm brewing over the harbor. Finally, things are getting delightfully messy in the third shakeup, where Dante Falconeri and Brooklyn Quartermain are bonding in ways that go far beyond mere co-parenting, hinting at rekindled temptations from their shared past. As they team up to support Giovanni Joe Palmieri, the young violin prodigy who's navigating his own challenges in Port Charles, their interactions are evolving into something more intimate. Dante, the steadfast detective with a heart of gold, and Brooklyn, the ambitious music executive with a flair for drama, have always had a spark. Think back to their flirtatious history that once promised so much. Now, thrown together by family ties, they're discovering new depths to their connection. Co-parenting Joe isn't just about schedules and school events. It's about late-night strategy sessions, shared laughs over his latest performances, and those quiet moments where old feelings bubble up unexpectedly. What if a casual hug lingers a bit too long, or a supportive conversation turns flirtatious under the stars? The spoilers tease that this dynamic could lead to complicated temptations, especially as they both deal with their own personal struggles. Don's ongoing recovery from past traumas and Brooklyn's ambitions in the music world. Add in the influence of other characters, like perhaps a jealous ex or a meddling family member stirring the pot, and you've got a recipe for romantic chaos. Their bond might deepen through joint adventures, like attending Gio's recitals or helping him through teenage angst, fostering a closeness that blurs the lines between friendship and something more passionate. Yet, with their history of ups and downs, including Brooklyn's impulsive nature and Dante's commitment to his duties, any rekindled romance could get tangled in misunderstandings and external pressures. Fans are eager to see if they'll give in to the pull or keep things platonic for Gio's sake, but the air is thick with anticipation for those steamy, unexpected developments. As these romantic shakeups continue to unfold in Port Charles, the ABC General Hospital is delivering the kind of heartfelt, dramatic storytelling that keeps us hooked. From Portia and Isaiah's fresh start to the perilous path of Curtis and Jordan's potential reunion, and the evolving temptations between Dante and Brooklyn, there's a whirlwind of emotions at play. Each storyline adds layers of complexity, exploring themes of forgiveness, desire, and the consequences of past choices. Whether it's the thrill of new love or the bittersweet ache of what could have been, these developments promise to captivate audiences with twists that could change everything. Stay tuned to our channel for more spoilers and in-depth updates on the ever-evolving love lives. In this iconic soap opera Tambakaz in Port Charles, romance is never simple, but it's always unforgettable.